Africa is a continent full of diverse cultures and history, but it's also a land where some of the most chilling crimes have taken place. In this video, we'll delve into two of the most twisted stories of the most prolific serial killers in Africa's history, Moses Sithole. Moses Sithole was born in 1964 in Vos-Loris, a township in South Africa. He had a difficult childhood, as his father abandoned him and his mother worked as a domestic worker to make ends meet. Moses had aspirations of becoming a teacher, but poverty forced him to drop out of school and turn to a life of crime. Moses started his criminal career with petty crimes like theft and robbery, but his ambition and desire for power led him to commit more heinous crimes. He became a member of a notorious gang called the People's Army, who were responsible for a string of violent crimes in the townships. In 1994, Moses Sithole embarked on a killing spree that would shock the nation. His victims were mostly young women, who he lured by promising them jobs. He would then assault and murder them in isolated places, using his charm and manipulation to gain their trust. Moses Sithole's killing spree lasted for 6 months, during which he killed at least 38 women. His victims were mostly from poor backgrounds, looking for a way out of poverty. Moses would prey on their vulnerability, and they fell for his lies. Moses Sithole's modus operandi was to strangle his victims to death, and then dump their bodies in different locations. The police were baffled by the killings, as there seemed to be no connection between the victims. The police launched a massive manhunt for Moses Sithole, but he managed to evade them for several months. However, his luck ran out when he made a mistake that led to his arrest. In 1995, Moses was arrested after a victim managed to escape and identify him to the police. He was tried and convicted for the murders and sentenced to 2,410 years in prison, 1 year for each day of his killing spree. Moses Sithole is still serving his sentence in a South African prison, where he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. The legacy of Moses Sithole's crimes lives on, and his victims will never be forgotten. His story is a reminder of the evil that can exist in the world, and the importance of justice for those who have been wronged. But Moses Sithole wasn't the only serial killer to terrorize Africa. Daisy de Melker was a female serial killer who operated in South Africa during the early 20th century. Her story is one of greed, manipulation, and murder. Daisy de Melker was born in 1886 in South Africa. She was an intelligent and ambitious woman who aspired to become a nurse. She married at the age of 16 and had 2 children, but her husband died a few years later. Daisy de Melker was determined to make something of herself, and she studied nursing while working as a secretary. She met a man named Robert Sproat, and they fell in love. They got married, and Robert became Daisy's ticket to a better life. Robert Sproat was a wealthy man, and he doted on Daisy. They had a son, but Daisy's ambition and greed led her down a dark path. In 1923, she poisoned Robert with strychnine, claiming it was medicine for his stomach ailment. Daisy de Melker inherited Robert's wealth and became a wealthy widow. But she wasn't satisfied with just one murder. She went on to poison her son, her stepson, and her own father with strychnine. Daisy de Melker's crimes went undetected for years, but eventually, she was arrested and charged with murder. She was found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. Daisy de Melker's story is a reminder of the darkness that can exist in human nature, and the consequences of giving in to greed and ambition. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos on true crime stories.